Hi there. Later, Indiana Jones and the fabulous handbag. First though, another record-breaking year for London Trans Plus Pride, with more than 100,000 people showing up. Comes off the back of all the attacks on transgender rights in Britain and elsewhere. Existence and resistance was the theme, driven by that UK Supreme Court ruling, the legal definition of a woman's based on biological sex. Victoria tells Channel 4 News trans people aren't going to disappear.
My existence here today is not because there is an easy pathway or route for me to exist in the first place. Whilst things can be legislated and transphobia can exist, it doesn't remove us. It just makes things more difficult. And then I end up asking people, actually, is this what you want for people around you to be suffering in this way?
Attendance was 40,000 up on last year's 60,000, which was also a record. Organisers say London Trans Plus Pride's now the biggest event of its kind in the world. Next, a transgender woman's been murdered in Iran by her uncle. 25-year-old Sogand Pakdel was shot in the head during a cousin's wedding near Shiraz last month. The killing's the latest in a series of murders of queer Iranians by their relatives. The trans activist had faced years of abuse and death threats from her family. And a town's pride banner that was vandalised is now an Indiana Jones-style handbag. The sign's been repurposed and raffled to raise some cash for Congleton Pride, held over the weekend in Cheshire in the UK. Abby Smith, who's made the bag, is a big fan of the Harrison Ford films, says it shows you can turn hate into something positive. No time to tell you that. Pride events in Berlin and Amsterdam have drawn tens of thousands of people. About 500 have turned out for one in Oradea in Romania, despite it being banned for the third year running. Luxembourg's working on a law to ban conversion therapy. And the musical Wicked's been reimagined by an all-transgender and non-binary cast in London, featuring the city's trans choir. Hi there. Later, the title of the Heartstopper finale. First though, a man picked on at high school for being gay has received an apology 20 years later. Misha Brown from Western New York's an influencer now with 3 million TikTok followers, posting videos where he's just generally being out and authentic. The 37-year-old's former bully's been seeing those, and as Misha explains, had this reason for reaching out.
I've got a son now. He's 15 and he told me he's gay. Man, all I thought about when he told me that was how I hoped people were nicer to him than I was to you. It makes me feel proud to be his dad, and hopefully that makes up for something. Yeah, I would say that makes up for something.
Misha says he's often contacted by the parents of queer children who show their kids his videos to let them know they deserve a full, authentic life. Malta is the safest country for queer travellers. So says this year's LGBTQ plus risk map from A3M Global Monitoring, taking on board the likes of legal protections, the chance of discrimination, societal attitudes and people's actual experiences. Iceland, the Netherlands, Canada and Spain also making up the top 5. Iran's rated the most dangerous country. And filming on the finale of LGBTQ plus drama Heartstopper has wrapped up. It's taken 34 days, with Netflix saying we'll get to see the film next year. The conclusion to Nick and Charlie's love story as they try to navigate a long-distance relationship is called Heartstopper Forever. No time to tell you that non-binary singer G Flips renewed their wedding vows in a medieval ceremony in Australia with wife Chriselle Stouse. The UK city of Nottingham's getting a rainbow quarter, its first officially recognised LGBTQ plus area. And some Christians are livid over a man dressed as Jesus dancing at Belfast Pride in Northern Ireland and dishing out high fives. Hi there. Later, where an anti-gay law has just been struck down. First though, claims out of Nigeria, 2 boys suspected of same-sex activity have been beaten to death at their boarding school. 11 students arrested after the pair were attacked with metal objects in Bichi in Kano State. 2 other boys from the high school left seriously injured. Homosexuality is illegal in the country, with Kano one of 12 states there where being gay carries the death penalty. They've got Islamic law there. Amara Ogara is an out lesbian influencer in Nigeria.
I'm cautious of holding my partner's hand. I'm cautious of looking at her too long. Like, I remember when she had walked in and I told you, oh, meet my girlfriend. The table behind us, they all looked our way. You can be in your working environment. One day they find your Instagram page. And it's like, oh, you're a lesbian. We don't feel comfortable with you around.
A government official in Kano calls the boys' killings an unfortunate and tragic event. A law criminalising gay sex in St Lucia has been struck down. The Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court's ruled the so-called buggery and gross indecency legislation is unconstitutional, means the number of countries where homosexuality is illegal now drops to 64. And San Francisco's Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence have inducted a new member. The drag nuns have been fighting for queer rights for decades and do lots of charitable work. They've welcomed lesbian cartoonist Alison Bechdel as Saint Verisimilitudinous, Pundit of Profundity, Maestro of Mirth, and a saint to watch out for, keeping it understated. No time to tell you that. It's Out and Proud Parents' Day, celebrating the parents of LGBTQ+ kids around the world. And Lady Gaga's worn a sash in the trans pride colours during a show in Los Angeles on a Mayhem Ball tour. Hi there. Later, it's lime green, it's rude, and it's stopped a basketball game. First though, a homophobic attack on a drag queen that's seen her punched in the back of the head. Pixie Polite was assaulted by a bedwetting knuckle dragger in a shop in southwest London. The 32-year-old, who's been on RuPaul's Drag Race UK, tells Gadio it started with verbal abuse and escalated.
He came out with the homophobic slurs repeatedly. I turned to leave and I had to walk past him to get out of the store. I had to walk directly past him. He just sort of swung around and hit me in the back of the head and neck. Somebody got between us and I got a photo of him and I left and I called the police.
Pixie was treated for a head injury in hospital. London's Met Police say it's a hate crime. No arrests up to now, though. Next, cyberstalking's seen a big rise in the UK, with LGBTQ+ people more likely to be victims. University College London's been studying nearly 148,000 crime surveys from between 2012 and 2020 and found a 70% increase overall, so from 1 to 1.7% of respondents over that period. But queer people are disproportionately affected, being more than twice at risk of cyberstalking than straights. And a women's pro basketball team in America has been interrupted after a lime green sex toy was thrown onto the court. See if you can work out exactly when TV cameras zoomed in to reveal the object's likeness to a male appendage.
We're not sure where it came from. No room for any of that type of activity.
Yeah, and no one's picked the object up yet. You guys, oh my gosh, okay. Inappropriate. Get him out of here, whoever it is.
This delayed the climax of the WNBA game between the Golden State Valkyries and Atlanta Dream in Atlanta, with just 52 seconds to go. The Valkyries won, by the way. Hi there. Later, Hong Kong's biggest LGBTQ+ event is off. First though, earlier this month we brought you bisexual TikToker Matty Rossi's musings on things that are straight he finds pretty gay, and he's been at it again.
Fantasy football. You're telling me that a bunch of men get together to fight over which men they want most, and then, once they're done with them, they start to trade them? Gay.
Also this observation, which I'm labelling slightly uncouth.
Proposing to a woman. You're gonna get on your knees like that? You know who else gets on their knees? Gay men, when they're stuck.
You get the idea. Finally,
working in finance. Mostly men work in finance, so if you're choosing to spend 40+ hours a week with other men, that's kind of gay.
Makes sense. You can find him on TikTok as Matty Rossi, with an I, Rossi. This year's Pink.HK, the biggest LGBTQ+ event in Hong Kong, has been cancelled. Organisers say they thought the venue was sorted, but authorities have pulled the rug with just 2 and a bit months to go. There aren't many suitable outdoor sites to hold the festival, which was meant to happen on October 12th, so it's off. An anti-LGBTQ+ political party in Japan has surged from 1 to 14 seats in Parliament's upper house. That gives right-wing populist Saito, who do like a conspiracy theory, the power to propose laws. The party is against equal marriage and discussing queer issues in schools. It's also anti-immigration and opposed the COVID vaccine, so kind of what you'd expect. And Britain's got its first out LGBTQ+ archbishop. Cherry Van's been elected to lead the Church of Wales, and it also makes her the only lesbian to serve as an archbishop globally. Plus, she's the first female to rise to this position in any of Britain's Anglican churches. No time to tell you that. Australian Football League side Sydney Swans play their annual Pride game tomorrow against Essendon. It's now in its 10th year, promoting inclusivity in the game. And you've got Trans Pride this weekend in Manchester in the UK. Get in touch on our socials. We're at Pride Daily Pod. I'm Kev McGrath. See you next week.